Well, thank you for joining us on today's Ask the Mayor program. We have two very special young ladies with us today that are going to be asking questions about the operation of city government. So please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bean. I'm the Conference Center Manager for the Downtown Douglasville Conference Center. I run the facility for the City of Douglasville, and the city wanted to let you know about the venue that we have if you're planning any events for 2008. The facility is equipped with audiovisual equipment and also a large pre-function area for your event. We can host 10 to 15 people for a small meeting, and it also can hold up to 250 for a larger event. The facility also has smaller breakout rooms, and we can also divide our large room into smaller rooms if you do have a small event for this year. In addition to the Conference Center, I also manage the O'Neill Plaza, which is also good for outdoor events. For more information on the Downtown Douglasville Conference Center and O'Neill Plaza, please call me at 678-715-6094.
You are with Junior Mayor for the day? Very good. I'm Bill Osmond, the City Manager. And this must be your friend Ashley. Okay, well, we're delighted to have you here, and if you'll look around over there at the camera, they're going to be taking pictures of you this morning.
Sierra, all right, congratulations. And you're Alice? Ashley, very nice to meet you today. Yes.
My job is to help write local laws, which are called ordinances, and to make sure that I advise the council about any new laws they want to pass and their compatibility with state law and federal law.
But this is Sweetwater Creek State Park, and that can be a connection for your city limits.
I attend all the meetings, and I write down anything they do, which is called minutes.
See all the views that they've got with their cameras so that they can do the video.
Sierra, what grade you going into? 6th at Turner as well? Y'all go to school together? Okay, great. The command staff, captains and above, come in here. We have a meeting every morning starting at 8:15. Where we all have assigned places that we sit. I sit right here, the chief would sit right here, and we go around the room, and the chief lets each division basically report on what's going on in the city that morning, what they've got going, what happened overnight while we were at home, and we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week, so have to keep them informed on what's going on even throughout the night.
Come Hello.
Well, we actually have an honored guest with us this morning. This is Sierra, and she is mayor for the day. This is what we call a DAF, or a daily field activity report, where every time you go, you make contact with somebody, you get dispatched to a call, you list it, you put down your times, what time you got there, what time the call was given to you, what time you got there, then what time you finish up with the call, and then you write the location up here, and you put a disposition as to a little code, basically, as to what you did, what time the call was. We don't house prisoners here. People here very short term. If we arrest them, and they're not going to be able to find out on the charges, whatever we charge them with, we actually send them down to the sheriff's department where they're kept. We may keep somebody here 4 or 5 hours. 6 would be stretching it, because we're not set up to feed inmates and things of that nature. So we send them down. But when you get arrested, this is where you come into our booking facility. We've had, here again, we just try to make do the best we could. What we call our radio room. This is the new room. By far, one of, if the not most hectic job we have at the police department is this chair right here. So technically, we don't have a parking space for our vehicles. We have the building right there, but all the parking lot belongs to the county. So that's, kind of puts us in a bad. North of the railroad tracks is basically a divider in the blue area. The downtown area is in the red, is zone 2. Everything south of I-20 in the orange is zone 3. And then this green area that you see out here, this will be the tributary area out here off Lower River Road.
It's Tracy. Ashley, how are you? Mayor for it does look like an award. Well, nice. Well, that's awesome.
How many people are in the pool right now? A lot.
Well, welcome to today's Ask the Mayor program. I have with me 2 very special guests that are here to ask some questions about city government and various things today. Sierra Chomley is the junior mayor for the day, and she's spending most of her time today with me and also touring various components of the city government. So we welcome her. We also welcome her friend who came with her today. Ashley Archery is with her, and she also is going through the various departments and spending some time with me today. I thank them very much for being here today to ask their questions. But before we start with your questions, what I would like to do, Sierra, is present you with a key to the city. This is a key to the city. It says, presented to Sierra Chomley, Junior Mayor for the day, Tuesday, July the 22nd, 2008. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, What we'll do is if you guys would like to ask me questions, I'll do my best job to try to answer those for you.
Our first question is, as mayor, what are you responsible for?
Well, I'll answer that with basically two parts. There are various things that I'm responsible for as designated by the city charter. And the city charter is our document that we operate the city. It's the rules and regulations and the things that you must do as the mayor of the city of Douglasville. And there are not very many things in there, to be quite honest with you. It basically says that I chair the meetings and that the mayor and the council actually sets the policy for the city. And then we have a professional staff of employees who carry out that policy under the direction of the city manager. So basically I have two definitions, what are required under the charter, and those are the things that I just told you about. There are other requirements of this job that I personally feel obligated to, and that is working for the people who actually elected me. And that part of my job runs a whole gamut of activities, from a phone call to my office asking for help, someone showing up at City Hall asking for help, or various issues that come up in the public where people need help. And that's really what elected officials are for, is to work for and help the public. So that's not defined in the city charter. But those are things that I do on a daily basis. I work normal office hours, Monday through Friday. And of course there are a lot of things that I do on the weekends or after hours. All of our city council meetings are held after hours, so the general public can actually attend those meetings. But that's a very good question. Thank you. Now they're going to tag team me, folks. They're going to alternate questions here. So.
When I looked at the map of Douglas County, I saw the city is spread out in the downtown area, some near Lee Road, Thornton Road, and off Riverside Parkway. Why do the cities area that not touch?
Well, you're very observant in looking at the city map to see where the various components of the city are located. And you're exactly right. The city of Douglasville does cover a large part of the geographical area of Douglas County. Now, in order for the city to grow, it typically grows, and all cities typically grow through annexation. And annexation, of course, is a situation. There are three ways that property can be annexed into the city. The city of Douglasville only uses one of those methods. And that's a method where the property owner comes to the city government and says, city government, I own this property. It's currently in the county. I would like for it to be in the city. And the process we go through is governed under the laws of annexation for the state of Georgia. And that's merely converting the property to city property. Now, it still remains county property. Any property that is in the incorporated area of the city of Douglasville is still Douglas County. And that property owner still pays Douglas County taxes, school taxes, and they agree to pay an additional tax, which is a city tax. And so, if you looked at the map, you may have seen some components of the city that were not contiguous, or the properties did not touch. Georgia law allows a government to jump across, if you want to think of it that way, state parks, roads, rivers, those kind of things. So you will see in the city of Douglasville, the property you mentioned, which is down on Thornton Road, is not connected to the other property because it's on the other side of Sweetwater Park. But that was a very, very good observation.
Like every city, Douglasville has crime. I've seen the jail and the courthouse. How does Douglasville protect its citizens?
Well, we have an excellent public safety department. Their response time is quick. When you call 911, usually there's someone in your area, in your part of the city. The city is sectioned into zones, and there is a police officer or police officers that are in those zones at all times. So when you call 911 and an officer is dispatched, they're not really sitting around the police department drinking coffee and waiting on you to call. They're in your neighborhood, ready to assist you very, very quickly. But we have a very talented, professional group of public safety officers, ladies and gentlemen, that are prepared to come and assist you with a whole litany of things that may happen. Douglasville is one of the few cities, if you lock yourself out of your car and you just cannot get in your car, you can call 911 and an officer will come out and assist you to get in your car. Actually, I received a letter from someone, well, it's probably been about 9 months ago, that couldn't believe, he was at the mall, locked his keys in the car, and his friend, who he was here visiting, said, well, you just call the police department, they'll come out and help you. And he said, now you've got to be kidding. The police are not going to come out and help me get in my car. Sure enough, they did. They came out, and he wrote a very nice letter about that. So we work very closely with the Sheriff's Department and all other public safety officials.
Does the city police and the sheriff's office work together?
They do. Actually, we have several initiatives that we work on together. Probably one of the most important is our drug interdiction unit. Actually, those officers, you may have seen, have you ever seen the police cars that are painted black? They're not the white cars with the blue writing. Those are the interdiction officers. And when you noticed, it had lettering on the side of it that would say Douglas County, or it would say City of Douglasville. So that's the only way you're able to tell those cars. So they work as a unit. And you'll have city and county officers working together to do drug interdiction. We also have an officer that's assigned to DEA, the drug enforcement, federal arm of drug enforcement. That works out of the Richard B. Russell building in downtown Atlanta. So we not only do we work very closely with the sheriff, but we work very closely with our federal public safety colleagues.
Are the school's officers, the Dare and Blast program, paid by government money?
Well, the answer to that's yes and no. The SRO, school resource officers, that we have in all of our schools, I personally think are very important. But it's also an expensive situation where you have to pay the officer's salaries, and you have to have a car, and you have to have a lot of other things that go along with that. But it's important. And what the city government does, we pay for some of those officers' salaries, and the school system actually assists in paying for some of them. So it's a situation where it's not a definite yes, it's not a definite no. It depends on the particular school where the officers work and the agreement that has been worked out with the Douglas County school system. But for the most part, it is Douglas County taxpayer money that pays for it, whether it's school system money that comes from property tax or taxes that are paid in the city of Douglasville. You guys have got a lot of questions here today. You must have done a lot of homework before you came. Pardon me?
Two more.
Two more. Only two more questions. No, I was just kidding. I don't mind.
Where does the city government get its money?
The city government's income stream is very diversified, and that's important because let's take your family, for example. If you just had one source of income and that income goes away, then you don't have any money to buy food and gasoline and clothes and pay for school expenses. Well, governments are very similar to that. If you only have one income stream, and some governments do, they rely predominantly on property tax to pay for the operation of the government. That's not the situation here in the city of Douglasville. Only a small component of the money necessary to operate the city comes from property tax. There are many, many other sources of revenue that the city uses. Sales tax is a large component. We have business license fees. We have some traffic citations that people pay. And so there's a wide range. And I wish I had if I'd have known you were going to ask that question, I would have brought a pie chart that shows where or what percentage of our income comes from a particular source. So we're not dependent on any particular source of income, and that's good, especially in the economic times that we're in now. You may have seen on the TV recently where the city of Atlanta is closing some fire stations. And I believe it was College Park or someone has laid off a lot of their firemen, and they're cutting back in staff, and which means they're cutting back in services also. But we're fortunate here in the city. Now, our budget this year, we had to kind of tighten our belt and look at things we were doing. But we have a balanced budget where we do not anticipate having to lay anyone off or reduce any services to the citizens. And we'll do that without raising any additional income or any additional property tax. We anticipate the millage rate, which is the multiplier that's used to calculate your property tax, to remain the same this year, and it has remained the same for many, many years. So we get our money from different sources, and we operate the government with that money, but not depending on any single source of revenue.
And as mayor, do you talk with other mayors or the governor?
I do talk with other mayors. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was at a meeting downtown Atlanta. There's a new initiative called 50 Forward, and it's an initiative by the Atlanta Regional Commission and GMA, and it's looking 50 years into the future for the metro Atlanta area. And there are 40 people who have been appointed to that committee, and I'm one of those 40 people. So we had a meeting yesterday, and in that meeting was Mayor Shirley Franklin from Atlanta, Mayor Bill Floyd from Decatur, and myself. So from time to time I do meet with other mayors, and that's an example of the kind of things that we're involved in. With the governor, we don't meet with the governor that often. We do go down when the General Assembly is in session, and we talk with him about initiatives that are important to those who live here in the city of Douglasville. And basically we're lobbying him to support various pieces of legislation that would be important for all of those who live here in Douglasville. But we work very closely with other mayors, and you can learn from other cities. And actually we try to pick up on as many of the good ideas and the good things that people are doing in other cities and bring those things back to Douglasville. And it's not only from the mayors that you pick up good ideas. One example I always use, when we had the blue bag system, for those who remember, we had to gift wrap our trash and put it in blue bags. I was in California visiting my aunt there, and she told me about the great and wonderful system of trash collection they have, which is twice a year. They pick up anything. If you can drag it to the street and it's not hazardous material, they'll pick it up. So that was an idea I saw in California. We came back here and we implemented it in the city. So you can do the same thing from talking to other mayors. You can pick up on ideas and good things they're doing. So we do work very closely with them, especially through the Georgia Municipal Association, which is an organization for 536 cities now that Dunwoody just voted to become a city. It's an organization of cities that work together for the common good of all cities in the state of Georgia, and we're very involved in that.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to see what you do and support Relay for Life.
Well, thank you, and thank you for taking your time to spend a day with the city of Douglasville. It's pretty unusual for two young ladies to want to take their summer that they're off to come in and analyze government and look at government, and I thank you for doing that. The future of our city is very bright when we have people like you that are willing to, even at an early age, begin to think about getting involved. So thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. Well, thank you for joining us today on Ask the Mayor program.
Reporting live from downtown Douglasville, where several Eastside Elementary School students are here to show you how to live it up downtown.
Come downtown to O'Neill Plaza for the Taste for Douglasville's Arts Festival.
Or maybe you rather come for the spring concert.
Come downtown for the food, like seafood at Douglasville's finest Cajun Cafe, gumbos.
Come downtown to the theater in the Old Courthouse Museum to see a production by $1 players.
Come downtown to the Cultural Arts Center in the historic Robert Mosley House for art exhibits and concerts.
Or maybe you'd rather see a family or kid-friendly production.
There you have it. Eastside students really know how to live it up downtown. Why don't you plan a trip to downtown Douglasville where you can live it up too?
We're living it up downtown.
This is Bill Osborne, City Manager in Douglasville. I want to remind you that our City Council meets on the first and third Mondays in each month at 7:30 p.m. at City Hall. There's a legislative work session the preceding Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. at City Hall. We welcome the public. There's always the opportunity for the public to speak during these meetings. But if you can't come to the meetings and you want to keep up with what's going on, catch us on City TV.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today on Ask the Mayor program. Wasn't that a great program, and wasn't it refreshing to have two young ladies ask us about city government and to take their time out of their summer schedule to be here to look at city government and see how we provide services to the citizens of the city of Douglasville. So again, thank you for joining us on today's Ask the Mayor program.